Okay, the time is 6:01, April 6th, and we're here at the Public Safety Committee meeting for Granada Hills North Neighborhood Council. All present are Nathan Lee, Robert Moore, Brian Allen, Wade Hunter, and Bill Cotter. We'll go to the item B as in Bravo on the agenda, which is general public comment on non-agenda items. I don't believe we have anybody attending here from the general public. Let me double check that. I don't see anybody.
Nobody.
Okay, so let's go to the next item on the agenda, which is item C as in Charlie. Discussion and motion regarding traffic issues on Balboa Boulevard, including but not limited to no left turn.
Yeah, we heard anything back from John Lee or anything else about our request to get the signage completed?
I haven't seen anything in response to the 2 letters that we did send out last month. Nothing yet on that issue.
Bill, what month is it?
April.
Who's going to be elected?
Yeah, right. It's just, I mean, luckily we haven't had a lot of issues up here lately, but you know, all it takes is one thing on the 210 or the 5, and then we just get slammed with it. So it's, you know, it's definitely an issue. Besides the no left turn signs, I also wanted to bring up, I didn't have it on the agenda because I just noticed it since you asked the agendize thing. The bollards that they put up along Balboa north of Woodley, a whole bunch of them have been taken out, and some of them are just lying in the street. So I don't know what it will take the city to come up and actually repair them, replace them, or whatever. But obviously, people are hitting them left and right, and the city is not maintaining them.
Well, there's no enforcement in that right turn lane, and so they just go on through Woodley, and they take them out, and they seem to be going so fast on the street that they take them all the way from the freeway down to Woodley. They are taking them out periodically, on both sides.
Both sides, yeah.
I will say that the traffic in this area hasn't been as bad as it could be and has been, but it's still stop and go from certain hour to certain hour.
Has everybody noticed all the number of accidents at the Knollwood Shopping Center?
Yeah, there were 2. Somebody died. 2 recently. One person died. Recently, there was one right up here at Woodley and Balboa where one person died. You had another accident. Did that motorcycle die? Did that guy die? There was a motorcycle down at where was it?
Knollwood? Yeah, he died.
He died. Yeah, I thought he would. Yeah, that was a serious one. So there's a lot of accidents on Balboa, and there's a lot of Teslas in this area, and when a Tesla gets in an accident, you're going to get hurt.
It was a bad one just the other day, Balboa and Tennyson. Yeah. So, you know, they're just occurring nonstop. So I think with all the accidents we're having, I think we would be well served to, you know, not ask, but demand to have more enforcement take place up here. It's taken place, a lot of it down at the Knollwood Shopping Center, but I was doing radar out there last Friday, and we were having people hitting 72 miles an hour in a 40 zone. So obviously they're still using it as a motor speedway.
I don't know what it's going to take to stop them.
Well, it's an issue everywhere, you know, that people are just, it's like post-pandemic, everybody forgot how to drive and thinks fast is the best way to go.
Yeah.
So the same down here, San Fernando Mission and Woodley. This morning at 4:30 this morning, I was headed to the gym and almost got taken out by somebody who was speeding down San Fernando Mission and blew the red light.
Yeah, my wife left here the other day in the morning. The light was red on Woodley at Balboa. No cars in either direction, and the guy in front of her just decided to make a left turn on the red light.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't give a crap anymore. It's unbelievable. Now, they do seem to have gotten the message that Knollwood is where the cops have been hanging out a lot. Because I have been seeing people as I'm driving down Balboa that they get to near Knollwood, all of a sudden they go on the brakes, they see nobody sitting in the driveway, the golf course, and then they speed back up. So if they're getting sensitive to it down there, I don't know why we can't make them sensitive to it up here.
Well, the police Valley needs to set up at Westbury, because that's where they're going to catch him. They're going to make a lot of money because everybody goes through there at 80 miles an hour, both directions.
Well, can we make a request of John Lee that he provide some overtime funding for motorcycle or traffic enforcement? Let's pick Westbury as a specific one, that is being done during both the morning and the evening commute.
I can second that motion.
Okay. All right, so the what I have then is that we're putting in a request to John Lee for Valley traffic to set up at Westbury and Balboa. Requesting that John Lee provide overtime funding for motorcycle and traffic enforcement morning and afternoon.
Yes.
Okay. Is that Monday to Friday?
When the worst part of the problem is, I mean, it occurs every day, but most of the commuters, I think, are the ones that are the biggest problem during the week. Brian, what do you feel that way?
Yeah, I agree with you. It does happen 7 days a week, but it's not as bad on the weekends.
Okay. So are we making it Monday through Friday then, or is it 7 days a week?
I would make them Monday through Friday. You never get enough money 7 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we have the motion then. Shall we put it to a vote? All right. Let's go with.
If anybody has any other.
Yeah. Is there any other discussion on this motion? I don't know if Wade's been on the phone the whole time or if he.
One thing before we vote on it, I think we also ought to make mention that John Lee controls the money from the Sunshine Canyon Amenity Fund, and this would be an excellent and topical use of it in an area directly impacted by the Sunshine Canyon landfill. So that, basically we want the money spent up here because the problem is caused up here. So he has money he can provide on the flip of a coin.
He has a lot of money, and it's within the 5 mile radius.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was Ralph. His house was cleaned. I know he was telling me Linda's been cleaning up because she's been expecting and they can't get in. He's asking me what the number is, and I'm going, I can't. I went and looked at the thing that Oscar sent, and I no, he needs the. I have no idea. So he won't be joining us anyway. I'm sorry. I tried.
No, it's okay. Thanks for trying. So we have a motion that's on the floor right now. This is just for Wade, just to recap briefly for you. It's regarding trying to set up additional police enforcement at Westbury and Balboa regarding traffic enforcement morning and afternoon, Monday through Friday. We're requesting that John Lee use overtime funding for motorcycle and traffic enforcement at that intersection. Bill just mentioned that there might be some money through Sunshine Canyon landfill that John Lee could allocate for police and overtime.
Right, the Sunshine Canyon landfill is the amenities fund.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Is there any further discussion? But we already had a motion and a second to put this to a vote. Is there any further discussion? All right, let's put it to a vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
And I'm also voting for it myself. So that's it passes 5-0. All right. Bill, did you want to try to put some language together and I can drop it into a letter, or how did you want to do it? Okay.
I'll do that. I'll make a note.
Okay, great. Thanks, Bill. All right, let's go to the next item on the agenda. It's D as in Delta. That's discussion and motion regarding fences which appear to be too high, which are being constructed on Balboa Boulevard, north of Rinaldi Street, including safety issues and potential referral to the Plum Committee for action to get a city planning inspector out to check. Okay. Wade, I know this was your item that you had suggested, so I'll let you take the lead on it. I'll open it up for discussion.
Okay, what I did send out was, let's see, at 10:51 today, I did send email to you guys, and basically what I said is I just, some of the ones that were bothering me, it wasn't just fences alone, but also it goes to the hedges themselves, and they're covered as part and considered as a fence. And so I listed, and I'll read what I had on there. It says, FYI, some of the properties I have concerns about that front onto Balboa Boulevard, north of Rinaldi for tonight's meeting are 11600 Halsey. Okay, now that one is it's a corner property, but the side butts up onto Balboa, but the front also fronts on onto Halsey Street. That particular property, that was the one that was going to be that daycare that fell through. And then you look, they've got 6-foot fences all the way around that property. Yeah, I mean, all the way around it. So that's an issue, but one of the side ones does butt onto Balboa, so you can see it. The next one that I had was 11725 Balboa, and that was a white 6-foot fence, and it was to the sidewalk. That one, the guy's got one of those jump things in there, a bounce thing for the kids inside. It's using it for a playground in there at the front. But anyway, I mean, I see that one. That one's the most offensive one to me because he's done it. Others are going to do it. And like I said, you heard me mention Fallujah. If you happen to be over that way and you saw how people enclose their front yard, if they will, and they have a courtyard in the front, and so the fences or walls come right up to the street. Well, that's what you're going to end up with on Balboa, and that's my concern, that here's one, and here's like the major offender. There's also, I listed another 5 properties, 11,811, 11,821. I'm not quite sure about that number. 11,911, 11,921, and 11,925. All of them have hedges that are over 6 feet tall. Now, what I did do is I have the heights of fences. I looked at the zoning. It's all RS1 in there. Unless somebody has some kind of variance that allows them to do it, as far as I know, they can't do it. Fences in Los Angeles, as I said, let me see here, City of Los Angeles, where am I reading here? I'm looking for typically it's going to be front yard fences zoning for, if it was zoned RA, it would be could be 6 feet, but it's RRW is 3.5 feet. So that's my problem. And fences were defined to include hedges as well. I'll have to find that. So I did send you the 2 documents that kind of cover that. My issue is it's starting to trying to, I understand why they do it. It is noisy on Balboa. But point is, they bought those houses. They did whatever they did. Most of those people are new tenants. I don't even think these are original people. So when they bought them, it was already noisy. But you can't build out the way that they're doing in their front yards. It's not permitted. So anyway, I did have the copy of the it says fence, tree, and hedge height law. Los Angeles was one of the ones that I gave to you. So wait, is there any I'm sorry, I'm trying to read and do the same thing at the same time. I'm getting a little disjointed, but front yard fences in most areas, fences, commas, hedges, commas, trees are limited to 3.5 feet in height in the front yard. That's zoning.
Ralph is in attendees, by the way. You know, some of those properties have had some of those hedges since the earthquake and before. Some of it's been there a long time. You're right, some of it's brand new, like that one where they put a wood fence on top of a brick cinder block. some of them are definitely exceeding, but some of those are also backyards and side yards rather than front yards.
The ones that I all point out, front yards, except I think on the one that, one of those ones where they've got the menorah, that's on the corner of Midwood and
Yeah.
I think that was the 9/11 one. That could be a side. But the point being is, and I know the reason that came up about the trees and hedges and stuff like that, I remember the SLO officer coming to GHNNC and talking about the fact that it had been cut down because it was hard for them to see into the properties, and they were told, and they did trim the hedges and everything down at that time. And now they've grown back up again. So, and again, it says right in here, front yard fences in most residential area, fences, hedges, trees are limited to 3.5 feet in height in the front yard. So if it's a front yard, they need to come down. And my point was, we're public safety, although as Bill pointed out, there is a safety issue because it blocks people's view of the intersecting streets and things like that, or from the intersecting streets across Balboa, so they can't see if they're a corner type property and things like that. So that's a, you know, definitely a safety issue. But since I also felt that it was plum, planning and land use, that we move it to plum with the information and ask them to get hold and arrange to get a inspector out here because to validate what I'm saying.
So is the motion to send a letter to Building and Safety and ask them to evaluate the properties on Balboa for fence height?
No, I'm sorry, I don't have it up here. Nathan, I believe it says that we would discuss it and then refer it to plum.
Yeah, it says, I'll read it again. The agenda items D as in Delta, discussion and motion regarding fences which appear to be too high, which are being constructed on Balboa Boulevard north of Rinaldi Street, including safety issues and potential referral to Plum Committee for action to get a city planning inspector out to check.
Hello?
I don't understand why we're sending it to Plum when we could be doing it ourselves. If we're considering it a safety issue, then it doesn't need to go to Plum.
Safety is one aspect of it. I agree. Only reason I did it is because it went to its land use issue. And
Ralph is trying to say something.
Ralph, we can hear you. I don't know. Can you hear us, Ralph?
Yes, I can. I have to apologize. We have a guest from out of state, a grandson here, and I got totally involved in that. So
No problem. No problem. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ralph.
So I'm just getting in on it, and I have to apologize. Anyhow, I don't. Do you have my camera here? Or is that
No, we can't see you,
but we
can hear you just fine.
I'll have to have my wife. Look, I'm not getting a camera on here.
In the interest of time, we don't need the camera so
Yeah.
much. And I don't know if it lets participants
Sorry.
come with the camera anyway.
Yeah, I mean, on this issue, on back to item D as in Delta. So I think the idea is good. I don't know, as far as whether it's a safety issue, I don't know if we've heard enough about public safety just yet. I'm not sure if it's a plum issue. Another thing too is that we might be, I know, Wade, you've researched this by investigating. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 properties that are kind of that we're kind of singling out. So I'm just on the flip side, if you're one of those 7 homeowners, you might be wondering why you're being singled out from the rest of the neighborhood or from our boundaries, our territory. I'm sure there's lots of homes that are in violation of this ordinance, but you know, I think we got to be selective or careful with who we're going after, if we're going after anybody at all.
I think we could say to either Plum or Building and Safety, we'd like to have the entire area investigated, and here's, you know, X number of examples, but it's not limited to just those. But it would seem like maybe, I mean, on Balboa, it's an issue for some of the streets because of safety, I don't know if on a side street, but I just think building and safety ought to look through the entire area. Or Plum should give them a list or, whatever. It shouldn't just be Balboa.
No, again, what brought my attention to the problem was the fact that, I drive up and down and seeing what I see, it concerned me because, again, once one does it, the others do it. The next thing we know, we're going to have everybody out, building out fences all the way along Balboa. It's an eyesore technically.
It's a safety also because the police can't check on what's going on.
Right, which is a point that we have made before. And I told you, the police did order them like cutting down the hedges and the trees so that the front, but I'm just saying, hey, zoning says 3.5 feet. And these obviously exceed that. Just because our city of Los Angeles doesn't do what they're supposed to do.
That's why we pay taxes.
Well, this is an issue, as is being mentioned here. It's an issue for more than just Balboa. If you go down Woodley, there are a number of properties that are now built out fences in their front yard that are 6 feet tall. You can't see the house even. This is more than just one street.
Okay, well, if you'd like to ask, I figured we'd have enough trouble getting out anybody anyway, just an inspector to come out and do those few, and getting them to do the Granada Hills North Neighborhood Council area might be a little bit much.
I have a question. Would it be improper for the Granada Hills Neighborhood Council to put a flyer out that has, let's say, just a brief thing on what we have in the height, and just get somebody to do this as a public notice and just put them on the doors?
The trouble is that I think the people that are doing it know full well they shouldn't be doing it. The construction companies know it, but they're paid and they're going to do it. And I doubt if anybody gets a letter, a flyer, they're going to say, oh, let me go spend $3,000 to tear down that fence or $10,000 to tear down that wall. Now, one of my people I do volunteer patrol with, their neighbor did build a wall. And when it got to over the height limit, they put out a thing to Building and Safety, who then put an immediate stop order on the project and told them they couldn't go up another inch. You have to take it back down. So they haven't taken it back down yet, but they have not finished the wall going up. So Building and Safety will react. So could I make a suggestion that we send the list that Wade has to Building and Safety, but also we ask Plum to investigate for the, what can be done for the rest of Granada Hills as, north as a whole. But we ask Building and Safety, because of the safety issue, to take care of the ones on Balboa as an immediate start.
I would second that.
All right. Is there any, I guess there's no further discussion. We're just going to put it to a vote. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'm against this one, so it's going to pass though 4-1. 1, 2, 3. Is that right? No, 5-1. Sorry.
Okay, and just to make sure we're not referring it to Plum, because we
I
talked.
think we do both. We asked, the motion I made was to ask Building and Safety to take care of the ones on your list, but we also, in parallel, asked Plum to come up with a plan for the rest of the Granada Hills North.
I'll second that.
So-
Did it change? Did the
No.
motion change, or do we need to
No,
revote?
we already voted on it.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no second
Yeah,
necessary.
we're just restating it to make sure.
I agree. Okay.
So I think I've got some work to do, Nathan.
Okay.
I'm
Are
not
you?
throwing it on you. I'll
You gonna
coming
put
up
something
a letter
together?
there or something like that. and-
Some language?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thanks, Wade.
Okay, thank you all.
All right. Let's go to the next item. E is an echo. Discussion and motion regarding installing signage on the east side of Balboa Boulevard just before Woodley Avenue including arrows to indicate that there is a left curve / turn ahead past Woodley. I'll open it up for discussion. I believe this was one of the items that Oscar actually raised previously, but I'll open up this item for discussion.
This is Woodley and where?
Just past Woodley on Balboa.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, east side. Yeah, go ahead. East side of Balboa, just before Woodley.
6
Northbound.
lanes wide plus whatever. I mean, the view, it's not like you're coming up on a blind turn or something like that where it wouldn't be clearly obvious that that left curve is coming up. I don't know if that's necessary or not.
Well, Robert, unfortunately I have to tell you, over the last 10 years, there's been 2 or 3 people have died at that curve because they negotiated it. It is, I won't say it's a blind, but it's a very difficult to recognize if you're going 60, 70 miles an hour.
Well, and there's the issue. It's not, the curve doesn't seem to be the issue. It's the negligent driving.
It's both.
Agreed, but there's no way to stop the negligent driver at this point. You can't rely on that. So you almost have to let people know that you have a difficult turn. The reason that it's difficult is because it's a downslope curve to the left.
Right.
That makes it much more difficult.
If memory serves me correctly, I think if you're going south on Balboa, as you're coming up to like a Roscoe, I think isn't there a sign with an arrow pointing that there's a curve in the road as you're going south?
That's Ralph's favorite intersection there. So,
but I think there was a sign with an arrow showing that was a curve. But my point would be, if there is going south, then there should be one if you're going north.
yeah. Very dangerous area because it's blind going south. It's blind coming up over the hill for the traffic
People
coming
go
north.
60, 70 miles an hour.
And the curve, northbound, the curve is blind until you get past Woodley, and then you see the curve.
Yeah, and I don't know that, the people who regularly travel it and maybe in daylight hours and things like that may be less of a problem, but at night we have idiots who come through and, you can hear them coming because they've got a muffler on their car that you can hear for 6 blocks. And then they go zooming along. I can hear them, and I live, 2 streets over, and I can hear them going down there. And they, if they're unfamiliar with the area, they're speeding, problem.
Unfortunately,
we have the motorcyclist that was killed there was doing probably doing 60, 70 mile an hour at the corner of
Easy.
Gillette and Balboa, and that's only a month or 2 ago. They speed.
Yeah, unfortunately, in my business, we have a saying that you can't fix stupid. They have supported my entire career, my children's upbringing, my house, everything. And you can put all the signs in the world. It's in my opinion, it's not going to make a difference.
One thing it could make a difference is that there is a warning sign and some idiot goes and kills himself, and his widow can't sue the city that you didn't warn me that this is a dangerous intersection where X number of deaths have happened, and it's your fault that my poor Bobby is dead. So for the price of putting a sign up there, I don't see a lot of downside to it. And if it keeps 1 or 2 people from doing it,
I don't see how the sign's going to absolve the city from any negligence toward.
It does. It does. Most
absolutely.
definitely does. It does.
In this day and age, I think.
Yeah, in this day and age, if the city didn't post it, then it's beyond their dime. So I mean, you know. So Bill is right. If you post it, then they're warned, and if they ignore the warning, they do it at their own risk.
I look at it as if a sign saves 1 life, the sign was worth it. That's all.
yeah. That was
or even injury,
Yeah.
then it's worth it. Okay. Is there any further discussion on this item? Item E as an echo. All right, let's put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
And
Would you read it?
would you like me to read it again? Is that what I heard, Ralph?
Please.
Sure. So the item E is an echo, discussion and motion regarding installing signage on the east side of Balboa Boulevard, just before Woodley Avenue, including arrows to indicate that there is a left curve / turn ahead past Woodley.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. I think we were voting there. So is that right? I just,
You want to do it again?
yeah, let's just vote. Let's vote again just to be sure. So it's already been, let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and I'm voting for it as well. And Robert, did
I'm
you vote for it?
opposed.
Oh,
I'm
you're opposed. I'm
opposed.
sorry. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in favor. And any abstentions? And it's 4 in favor, no abstentions, all opposed. Robert, I didn't hear you.
That's
Okay.
right.
Gotcha. Okay, so the motion passes 4 to 1. Okay. All right, thank you, everybody. All right, let's go to item F, committee comments. But before we start with the comments, I wanted just to start with one. Earlier tonight, I was asked whether there was any response at all from regarding the letters we sent out. There was no substantive response, but we received a cursory response from Lorena. I believe I just forwarded it out to everybody a few minutes ago. And it just basically indicates that she's looking into it. She's going to follow up. Lorena is going to follow up with DOT and then get back to us. So we haven't received any substantive response, just this cursory response. All right. Any other committee comments? Do you guys want to go around the room? The virtual room, we'll start with Brian.
I have nothing additional.
All right. Robert,
No comments.
Wade,
I'm getting old and I probably remember what it was. I want to tell you after the meeting closes. So right now, no, thank you.
okay. Bill,
Yeah, given that the city has now voted to reinforce the RV restrictions, I sent out the note earlier today. They can immediately start towing vehicles that are, unregistered, no wheels, no engine, that sort of stuff. And as of May 15th, they can start towing any of them. I think we need to go back to John Lee's office and say, okay, Colin, you're telling us this is on hold. It's off a hold. So when do we get our signs on Rinaldi as previously requested?
The signs are there, aren't they?
The signs, no,
Not too long ago, I thought they were all there.
no, the signs are on Rinaldi west of Aliso Canyon, but they didn't put them up on the east side of Aliso Canyon. And that's where we're asking to get up there where all those RVs or, the crap things are up there now.
Bill, I think you're incorrect in that assessment. I think they are there. I
When did they go in?
don't know, but they look brand new when I rode my bike through there just a few weeks ago.
We're talking from Zelza to Aliso Canyon.
No, they're installed as far as I know all the way to Woodley.
East of Zelza, there are signs, but west of Zelza to Aliso Canyon, that's where the issue is. That's why all the
I may have
RVs
missed
are
those.
parked there.
Yeah, those are the ones Colin said they can't do because of the mayor's prohibition. So I think I'll go out tomorrow and I'll look and, see if they've snuck them up there. I didn't see them there about a week ago, the last time I was actively, paying attention there. But if they're not there, I think now that the prohibition is being lifted, let's get the signs in there and let those get those people out of there.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it'd be a good time with today's vote. And thanks, Bill, for forwarding that on to everybody and sharing that information. That was news to me when I received it from you. But I think with today's vote, we should definitely follow up with John Lee's office on this issue.
Yeah, that was the best news I've seen today, is to be able to start doing something about that crap.
Okay.
They had me go out just about a month ago, and I did a survey throughout the entire Devonshire division of how many RVs are in what area and the shape they were in, the numbers and that sort of thing. So they're all posed to do something. So that one area they can't do too much about, but if we can get the signs in, I know that the captain is just waiting to start getting the others out of here. So I'm sure we're going to start seeing some movement. The big issue becomes there's only so many tow yards that will take them. And, you know, I'm trying to get us up on the list as fill them up from Devonshire before Topanga or West Valley or others get their spots. So I put a couple of calls in today to see what we can do to start expediting some of the movement.
Maybe some flyers and stuff might force the ones that can move to move.
If you look at them, they've got, some of them have tickets on it this thick and they just don't give a crap. They just don't. And some of them can't move, you know, unless you can come in.
No,
Yeah.
I've got 3 of them down here. They're actually in South District, but yeah.
No, it's going to have to be the city doing something. Those people just don't care.
I can fire something off to Colin Cruz and respond to his email.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I think that'd probably be the, you know, the most direct way to handle it. And then judging upon his response, then we can decide if we need to do further action, maybe
Great.
another letter or something. Okay. All right. Let's see here.
Any comment?
Yeah, Ralph, committee comments.
Okay, I first of all have to apologize. We have a grandson here that visits us from Idaho, and we had a little bit of mix up around here, so I apologize. And I want to thank Wade for giving me a call. It sort of woke me up to the problem, sir. And I think we're on the right track here, going after the people that are not following the rules. You know, my whole thing for years has been know the rules, follow the rules, and that got me in trouble. In the military, they made me assistant trial counsel for the battalion. I had to do court martialing, but that's another problem. Anyhow, I think we're on the right track, and let's go for it.
All right. All right. Thanks, Ralph. Are there any other committee comments? All right. Hearing none, I'm going to adjourn tonight's meeting. Thanks, everybody, for joining and participating. It was a great meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nathan.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a
Enjoy
good
the
night.
grandkids.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
Night.
Bye-bye.